This is strength, not the loud kind, not the visible kind, but the quiet force that grows in the soul of someone who refuses to quit. Seneca taught, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. You have proven yourself in ways others will never see. Your strength is not on display. It is etched in a way you keep breathing through the storms that should have drowned you, etched in the way you walk forward with a heart that still hopes, despite everything it has endured, etched in the way you choose peace over chaos, growth over comfort, truth over illusion. You are becoming the architect of your own mind, the guardian of your own peace, the sculptor of your own becoming. And slowly, you start to understand something profound. Life is not happening to you. Life is happening through you. Every thought you choose, every belief you hold, every moment you decide to rise instead of retreat, shapes your reality. Epictetus said, "Circumstances don't make the man. They only reveal him to himself." And what you are seeing now, within yourself, is not weakness. It is not failure. It is not lack. It is potential, raw, unpolished, burning quietly. Behind your ribs, you begin to feel it, a subtle shift, a calm awakening, a quiet understanding that you are capable of far more than the world ever told you. Your past does not own you. Your fears do not define you. Your doubts do not speak truth. And so you walk into a new kind of silence, not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of understanding. You begin to realize that life was never asking you to be perfect. It was asking you to be present, to be honest, to be willing to shed the weight you were never meant to carry, willing to meet yourself without judgment, willing to grow, even when growth feels like grief. For growth often requires the burial of old versions of you, versions that once protected you, versions that once kept you alive, versions that once made sense, but now they no longer do. And letting go of them is not betrayal, it is evolution. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." And now you understand. The very obstacles that exhausted you were shaping you. The pain that broke you open was clearing space for something truer to enter. The disappointments were realigning your path. The failures were sharpening your vision. Nothing was wasted. Not a single moment. Not a single tear. Not a single breath you took in the dark, hoping for a dawn that felt too far away. That dawn is here now, not in the sky, but in you. You begin to notice how each breath feels different now. Slower, steadier, less like survival, and more like returning home to yourself. The fear you carried for years starts to loosen its grip, not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer afraid of imperfection. You see now that the path was never meant to be smooth. It was meant to be real. It was meant to test your patience, your faith, your endurance, your willingness to rise, even when you had no proof that rising was possible. And yet, you rose again and again. You became familiar with uncertainty and learned to move anyway. You became familiar with heartbreak and learned to love anyway. You became familiar with loss and learned to live anyway. It is the quiet core of your being, the place where stillness lives. When the world shouts, go there. When your doubts rise, go there. When the night feels endless and your heart grows tired, go there. Not to escape life, but to remember how to live it. Seneca wrote, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." So let this moment be a new beginning, not dramatic, not announced, just a gentle, steady turning toward the direction your soul has always pointed. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you needed to be to awaken into your strength. Every fall was preparation. Every heartbreak was instruction. Every setback was an invitation to build a deeper foundation. You are not fragile. You are forged. And now, you begin to reclaim yourself. You reclaim your time from distractions that stole your focus. You reclaim your energy from people and memories that drained the life out of you. You reclaim your mind from fear, anxiety, and the stories you've outgrown. Slowly, you rise into the person you were always capable of becoming. Not the version shaped by circumstances, not the version wounded by the past, but the version that chooses, with clear eyes, steady breath, and a quiet heart, to move forward. Epictetus reminded us, how long will you wait before you demand the best for yourself? Let the answer be, not one moment more. You don't have to roar. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to win outward battles. To reclaim your inward power, you need only decide, today, here, now, that your story is not over, that you have more to give the world, more to feel, more to rise into, more to become. This is not the end of your journey. This is the turning point, the moment the storm breaks, the moment the light begins to return, the moment you start to meet yourself with compassion instead of criticism. You breathe deeper, you see clearer, you walk steadier, piece by piece, step by step, you gather, and so you stand at the edge of a life you have not yet lived, holding the weight of everything that shaped you, everything that scarred you, everything that tried to stop you. But hear this truth: the past is not a chain, it is a teacher, and every lesson it carved into you has prepared you for what comes now. You don't need to erase your memories. You only need to stop letting them steer you. Stop letting old wounds choose your direction. Stop letting old fears write your future. You are allowed to release what no longer serves you. You are allowed to walk away from the things that dim your spirit. You are allowed to grow beyond the limits you once accepted. Life is not asking you to forget who you were. It is asking you to become who you were meant to be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look well into yourself. There's a source of strength which will always spring up. If you will always look, that well inside you has not run dry. It only waits for you to draw from it again." You've spent years fighting battles that were never yours to carry, trying to prove your worth to people who never learned how to see it. Try to earn love from places that did not know how to give it. But now, you learn a new kind of strength, the strength of release, the strength of letting go, the strength of choosing peace over approval. You discover the rare courage of standing alone and realizing you were never truly alone inside yourself. There's a part of you that has always known the way, a part untouched by time, untouched by disappointment, untouched by the noise of the world. Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to." So ask yourself, what have you been feeding your mind? Fear? Doubt? Memories that bruise you even now? Or the belief that you can rise again? Because you can. You're not done. Your story is not finished. Your heart is not empty. It is bruised, yes, but bruised things still beat. Bruised things still breathe. Bruised things can grow. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel your breath slow. Feel the weight lift, even slightly. Feel the strength that never left you. Strength you forgot you had. Life has carved you into something new, something deeper, something wiser, something more aware of what truly matters and what never did. Every wound reshaped you. Every loss refined you. Every failure taught you what success never could. And now, here you stand, not who you once were, not yet who you will become, but someone in between, a soul in the sacred space, between ruin and rebirth. This is where transformation lives, where you shed the noise of the world and finally meet the truth of yourself. So take a breath, a slow one, a real one. Let it move through you like a quiet promise. I'm still here, and as long as you are here, there's more for you to rise into, more for you to discover, more strength waiting beneath the ashes. You thought defined you. You are not defined by what hurt you. You are defined by the way you kept moving through the hurt, by the way you held yourself together, even when your soul felt like shards, by the way you chose hope, even when hope felt too far to reach, by the way you looked at your reflection and whispered, "One more day," and then lived it. The world will try to convince you that you are small, that you are fragile, that you are powerless. But the world has no idea what you carry inside. It has not seen your battles. It has not felt your storms. It has not walked through your shadows. You have faced things in silence that would shatter others in the open. And that matters more than anyone will ever know. You don't need applause for surviving. You don't need witnesses to your strength. Your resilience has already been carved into the deepest parts of you, a quiet monument built from every moment you refuse to surrender. Seneca said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." And you have lived through what others will never understand. You endured seasons that broke people stronger than you. You carried battles no one saw. And still, something inside you whispered, "Not yet. Not here. Not like this." You kept going. And maybe you don't give yourself credit for that. Maybe you dismiss your own survival because it didn't feel heroic. But heroism rarely feels heroic in the moment. It feels like shaking hands, a trembling breath, and taking one more step when your body begs you to stop. You learn to hide your ache. You learn to pretend. You learn to say, "I'm fine," even when your voice cracked on the inside. But I want you to hear something now, and hear it with the part of you that still feels unfinished. You didn't come this far to remain a prisoner to old pain. You didn't survive the storms to stay afraid of the rain. You didn't break and rebuild just to forget the strength it took to pull your pieces back together. There's a fire in you that has never gone out. Not once. Not even in your darkest hour. It flickered. It dimmed. It hid. But it never died. That fire is your will. Your resilience. Your quiet, unspoken defiance against everything that tried to end you. When the world grows quiet and the weight inside your chest begins to speak, listen, because in that silence, beneath the noise of old wounds and forgotten dreams, there's a voice you have ignored for far too long. A voice that has waited through your storms. A voice that has watched you break, watched you fall, watched you rise, even when you didn't notice your own rising. You have carried so much, more than anyone knows, more than you ever admitted, even to yourself. But hear me now, you're not weak for feeling deeply. You are not broken for hurting. You are simply human, and being human means standing in the fire and choosing again and again to walk forward. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't telling you to feel nothing. He was reminding you that what rises inside you can be shaped, guided, transformed. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher that never lies. It shows you where you bleed. It shows you where you hide. It shows you who you could become if you dare to step through it. There were days you thought you wouldn't make it. Nights when the world felt too heavy. Mornings when you woke with a tired soul and a mind full of storms. But still you rose. Maybe slowly, maybe shaking, but you rose.